Tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart. Tell me that you understand. 'Cause you are the one for me. If you just believe, 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 believe. Listen to your heart, 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 heart. Listen to your heart, 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 heart. Listen to your heart. Tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart. Tell me that you understand. 'Cause you are the one for me. If you just believe. If you just believe. If you just believe. If you just believe. Listen to your heart. 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 Tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart. Tell me that you understand. 'Cause you are the one for me. If you just believe. 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 Believe. Listen to your heart, 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 heart.
Oh, yes, people. Welcome back to another late night chat. My favorite, your favorite, our favorite late night live Manchester City show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you're all doing very well. It's popping off in the last few days, isn't it? It's popping off. We have stuff to talk about. We have real stuff to talk about, people. Gundogan, striker linked. If you follow me on Twitter, you would have seen who I said City are linked with or interested in, is what I've been told. I'm going to give you lot, my beautiful audience, a more in-depth on how I found that out, and I'll tell you about the player, and we can have a good chat. But of course, Gundo is the main star of the show, isn't he? Ilkay G'undogan, Silky Ilky. Ilkay makes the Scousers cry. He is the main star tonight. We're going to be chatting all things Gundo. I know LB's been slamming the Gundo content. Did it with Sam Lee tonight too. Absolutely sick. But of course, we're going to share our views here and talk about this mega return. Mega return. You know what we've been saying for ages, people? We need that Gundo replacement. Looks like the Gundo replacement is Gundo. So it's very exciting. Very exciting. One of my favorite City players of all time. Listen, if you watched me on the Big Six, you know how much cooking I took for how much I rate Ilkay G'undogan. But I'll do that for Gundo, you know. I'll do that. I will rep Gundo, and I'm going to have to get a new shirt now. I've already got all three of this season's shirts, but I'm going to have to buy all three of them again with Gundo on the back. So become a channel member and start super chatting. Anyways, listen, 100 odd people in the building already. Big up to all of you who are locked in. Hit that like button, man. Let's get the likes up to 100. Why not? 115 is always the goal now. 115 likes is what we're looking for. And subscribe if you're new around here, because we are just over 300 away from 10k, and I promise you we will do a shirt giveaway at 10k, funded by me. I will fund a shirt giveaway at 10k to one of you beautiful blues, and we'll put Gundo on the back for you if you want. We'll put Gundo on the back. So share it around, help us get to 10,000. What a number that would be to hit. But if you're already subscribed, just hit the like button. Right, let's dive into this, because we have a return on the cards. I have been told it's done. All things agreed. Everything's agreed. The guy just got to put the pen to paper. Gundogan has to get his arse to Manchester, put pen to paper, and sign the contract, because everything's agreed. Absolutely everything is agreed. City want this deal to happen, and happen quickly. Gundogan wants this deal to happen, and to happen quickly. This is according to pretty well every single report out there. But yes, Gundogan is coming back to Manchester City. The return of the king, our captain, our European Cup winning captain, people. People don't talk about it enough. Our first ever Remember how elusive that Champions League was to us, people. Remember how we just couldn't get it. No matter how much money, tactics, setup we threw at the competition, we could not win it. And he lifted that. Gundo lifted that. And now he's coming back. After essentially a year loan to Barcelona. But anyway, listen, Joe, initial reactions. We're going to talk a bit more about the process of it and share our thoughts. But look, Gundo's back. And I rarely see something as unanimously well received with the City fans as this. You know, usually things are quite divisive amongst City fans, or there's mixed opinions, and that's normal, totally normal in the footballing world. But unanimously, it seems to be everyone is buzzing about Gundo back. Gun back. Or Gundo. Go on. Anyway, go on.
I did see just before we went live, someone did put on Twitter his, you know how when players leave, they get like a training ground or they get a mosaic? Gundogan's got one of them already up in the CFA. He's got a mosaic. His likeness is there. What do we do? This has never happened before. This is... I mean, we've said it so many times when we've talked about transfers, when people have said, why do we get this player back and what about this player back? Pep, don't do that. Pep does not sign the same player twice. You know how you look at certain managers, they have their boys, wherever they go, there's usually a certain player that follows them. Pep don't do that. You know, wherever he goes, you know, it's new signings. It doesn't work with the same player twice, or at least he doesn't sign them twice. So this is a big thing. It's technically a signing, but I think it's on a free. But in terms of what we need, I mean, we've all been crying out for a deeper midfielder, haven't we? We've all been crying out for an 8/6 that can fit in the squad and either deputise for Rodri or sit next to him. And, I mean, literally, who better than the man who sat next to him when we won a treble? Like, what are we doing? This is falling into our laps. Barcelona have essentially just given him a few years, what was it, 1 year holiday, 1 year and a bit holiday in Barcelona. Yep. And then he's coming home. Like, it fits like a glove. Obviously, there is, or at least in my mind, there's questions over, you know, is he still the same player that he was when he left? Is he maybe a step slower? I don't doubt the IQ is still there. And the things, you know, that he was mainly good at are still there, because those are things you don't lose. But you know, we know he had a problem with his back, didn't he? That was sort of unresolvable and continuous. There was a little bit of a thing there. There was, and again, with him getting older, he will eventually start to regress. It's just natural. It's father time. Like it just happens to every player. So that sort of stuff happens. But I can't lie. Even if it's a 1 or 2 year thing, it fits like a glove. Shouldn't be a transfer fee involved. It's literally right there. You know, no nonsense, no nothing. Just get it done. It's so easy.
Absolutely. We're going to talk more about it. But big up LFC side for the one gifted it to soundboard Joe. One gifted membership to the sit down with Jeff this time. Big up to you, Si, as always. And JTI, my man, smash the likes up, people. Come on, privileged people. Exactly. The membership club is a prestigious club for prestigious people. So, you know, link in the chat if anybody wants to become a member of the channel, like Si has just gifted to the sit down with Jeff. But yes, hit the likes, man. No reason we can't hit 100 likes now. But as you say, the signing of Gundogan at the start of the summer was absolutely not something that Manchester City had envisioned, entailed, planned on pursuing, because by all accounts, it seemed like Gundogan, I'm not going to say was happy with life at Barcelona, but he was at Barcelona, you know? He was at Barcelona, and that was kind of that. The chapter was sort of closed. As Sam Lee said on LB stream, I don't think he was totally happy with the way he was getting treated. I don't mean that as if he's been treated badly, but they weren't really looking after him the way maybe he's used to in Manchester City. And I've said this to you lot for a long time. Whenever we're being told about Alan's going to leave, De Bruyne is going to leave, you know, back when De Bruyne was younger, Aguero's going to go here, Silva's going to go there, Company's going to go there. I always said, it's not as night and day as that. Why? Because City do an unbelievable job at taking care and treating their major assets. You know, the players who really are important to the first team and you know, are big hitters in the squad. Like Haaland, of course, is right now, like Gundogan was and is going to be again. The club will do everything for you. Everything and more. If you hear about the lengths the club go to ensure the happiness of the player is fulfilled, you'd be absolutely mind-blowing. Everything from golf club memberships to tickets to events like sporting events, concerts, whatever, to house hunting, apartment hunting, advice on whatever. Like, the club go a real distance to help out the players with anything they need. So when push comes to shove, the player can always say, City looked after me. City really well and truly looked after me. So he gets to Barca. He was homeless, living in a hotel, and they wouldn't help him out to find a house. Blah, 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 blah. This still didn't mean much to us, really, did it? You know, I remember this came out in March that he wasn't happy at Barcelona, and I was kind of thinking, yeah, I'd of course fucking love him back at Ilkay G'undogan, but it's very much a pipe dream because, as Joe said, we're not used to players re-signing or coming back, especially under Pep. If we had any other manager, maybe if we had the next manager after Pep right now, I might say the next manager, it makes more sense even to bring Gundo back because you're bringing back one of Pep's, big disciples from that treble-winning team and even more than that. So it's going to be a massive help to the new manager. But for Pep to willingly say, yeah, bring him back is a massive testament and credit to Ilkay G'undogan as both a footballer and a person. But as I said, this was, and I tweeted this today, people, this was very much opportunistic for Manchester City, which is rare. It's rare that Manchester City are very opportunistic and, are spontaneous, I suppose, in the way they operate as far as transfers go. Usually our transfers are very thought through, really calculated, spend a lot of time thinking about it, weighing it up and blah, blah, blah. But it sounds like as soon as Gundogan made the call, and we know now apparently that Gundogan instigated the contact between the two parties, that City said, yeah, let's make it happen. And for me, it still makes sense. I really am not fazed by his age. For those of you who are wondering, he'll be 34 in October. I'm not fazed by his age. I'm sure most of you watched the Euros in the summer just gone by. He was one of the best midfielders at the Euros. And he's not one of these players that relies on pace. He doesn't rely on his physical attributes. He simply relies on his footballing IQ and his understanding of the game, the way he reads the game. And we have experienced that so much. But it's opportunistic is what I'm saying. And I suppose to add to that, does that mean City are finished in the transfer market? No. I am almost certain City are going to do more business. Almost certain, almost 100% City are going to do more business. But this, even on a footballing level, Joe, aside from the fact that we're getting back the nostalgia and a true legend of the football club, a genuine legend, I've said this, and I'm going to die on this hill, that Gundogan in the Premier League is up there with Gerrard, Lampard and Scholes. You can cook me, you can clean me, you can do whatever you want. I believe that. Criminally underrated. And we're getting him back. But on a footballing level, in terms of what we need right now, people, he ticks a lot of boxes. He ticks a lot of goddamn boxes. Knows the Pep system, knows Pep, knows all the players, successful, can play in the deeper role, can play further forward, can play as a false nine. It almost seems too good to be true, Once you're willing to look past the age thing and go, that really doesn't matter too much right now, at least in the short term, it's actually the perfect signing. The Gundo replacement is fucking Gundo. How about that, Joe?
The Gundo replacement is Gundogan, and the Mahrez replacement is Mahrez Light from the favelas in Brazil. We've gone full circle. It's only taken us like a few transfer windows to replace these guys, and one of them is replacing him with himself. It fits. It's rare. Like you said, it's rare that an opportunity like this just falls into our lap. Normally, we're accustomed to maybe not getting our first choice, but then getting our second or third choice, sometimes even fourth choice. But, we have a list, and we normally go for the first one. We don't get it. Next couple, we might get one. Ruben Diaz, all of these other players over the years that we've looked at, and centre backs. With the centre back thing, you can go all the way back to Harry Maguire. We didn't want to pay for him. Then it was Koulibaly. Then it was Koundé. Diego Carlos, I think, even at the time was one. Then it was Ruben Diaz. We signed him, and then you look at that and go, wow, unbelievable business. Same thing with the strikers. Harry Kane, they want to pay the money, waiting for Haaland to fall into our laps. Boom. Simple as that. So it's rare that we kind of get someone who just kind of falls into place and is exactly what we need. Like, it's not even it's fallen into our laps and it's like a luxury. It's a bonus. No, we need it. we need someone to play that position. So the fact that it's just there is like, I mean, it's phenomenal. And I think there's a few ways you can look at this. Of course, does this potentially mean that Pep is, you're more leaning into Pep signing an extension if Gundogan's going to come back for 2 years? You think,
listen,
is he going to do that? I'm going to slow down because I do want to talk about something else.
People, look, I'm all for the excitement. I'm all for the Gundo back, the Gundogan. Big up Daps in the chat. Good to see you, brother. I'm all for it, but as City fans, we love to start piecing things together really quickly. Going, Gundo's back, Pep's signing. We're going to win the treble, we're going to win the quadruple. Sheikh Mansour. We love to really get ahead of ourselves, but I understand it. Do I think Gundogan's first question is how long is Pep staying for? Is he going to extend? No. I personally think Gundogan's first priority is just this season of football. It's focusing on this season of football. He's turned down Qatar, Saudi, and that part of the world's domestic leagues. He wants to keep playing at the highest level. Other than Real Madrid, where is the best place to play right now? Manchester City. I think that's his priority. Look, maybe over the coming months, Gundo will speak to Pep will speak to Gundo and De Bruyne, of course, Sheikh Mansour, Khaldoon, whoever, and they'll speak on the plan for 2025 moving forward. But I don't think we should jump to the Pep extension conclusion just yet.
I only floated it because there was another couple of things that I haven't really seen talked about as well. The Pep extension is just a pipe dream, and it's just one of them things that I've seen so many people go on with that I don't really believe there's anything in that. But if you remember I can't remember whether it was a video online or whether it was part of a documentary, but he was doing his coaching badges with the underage groups as well. So is there maybe a potential of where he then becomes part of the backroom staff in a few years? Like, this is it. He signs for a couple of years, becomes part of backroom staff. That could potentially be an option because we know he was doing his coaching badges. There's all sorts of things that I haven't really seen talked about. I saw one person say actually that he signs, does a year, becomes Pep's assistant, then takes over from Pep. That's a pipe dream.
I believe that's part of the wider thinking for Gundogan, because I think, look, for him, he could have had the pick of clubs around Europe, or at least for the most part. He could have had probably any club he wanted, really. In Saudi would have given him a massive pay packet. He could have rode off into the sunset, collected a fat bag, and then chilled out back in Germany or Turkey or wherever he wants. But no, I think this is very strategic, both short-term and long-term for Ilkay G'undogan. The short-term being, of course, he gets to play in a multi-title challenging team. And second of all, his after-football life, You see a lot of ex-footballers, particularly Gary Neville has spoken a lot about this. When they get to the latter ends of their career, which Gundogan is, they start to think a lot about what are they going to do after. Are they going to get into punditry? Are they going to get into fucking, I don't know, fashion? They're going to join a boy band? I don't know. Or are they going to get into coaching? And it's not for everyone, the coaching business or the managerial business. But he has been on this for a while. Like, Gundogan he's 34 in August. And I think he would have started his coaching side of things, his badges, when he was about 29 to 30 with City. I'm pretty sure he did. He's really thought about this a lot. It's something he's expressed a lot of passion about. He wants to do it. And quite clearly, like, if you look at even the current managers around the world who've worked under Pep Guardiola, some of them are doing all right. A lot of them are very young. But he obviously feels being under Pep and learning from Pep and being part of the CFG is a good place for him to be, to keep building on that coaching side of things. And even if it's not to be specifically at Man City, there's a massive network of clubs there for him to go to. You saw Patrick Vieira do it. He went over to, I think was it New York? I'm pretty sure Vieira went to. You've seen other managers go. You saw Ange Postecoglou was in the CFG. He's now with Celtic. The CFG is a good place to build your profile and get your reputation, enhanced as an up and coming manager. So it's definitely a long-term strategy. And look, as of right now, people, big up LB in the chat, man. Good to see you. He says, hit the like button, people. 220 in the building. We can get 150 likes. the thing with him is that we don't know the details of any contract. We don't know the length of the contract, what money he's on. We know he's on more, I think, at Barca than he was at City, which was a decent little coup for him. You know, he got a nice little pay rise for the year, but it may have to lower. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure because it looks like we're going to get him on a free. So maybe City will give him just match what he was on at Barca. Is he worth that to you, Joe? I think he is.
Well, yeah, because he brings experience, leadership, and knowledge of the system, knowledge of most of the players in the squad. And he fits a positional need. Like, why wouldn't you? You're not paying a transfer fee. You can afford to. I mean, it's a common courtesy when it comes to free transfers. Look at Mbappe, for example. When it comes to free transfers, they usually come with either inflated wages or inflated signing on fees and bonuses because the player knows they ain't spent a penny on a transfer fee. So they can afford to maybe bump up wages and signing bonuses, you know, because it's a free transfer. So that's just kind of part and parcel of it. And I did read something before saying that Barcelona would owe him some sort of bonus themselves if they were to let him go on a free, which they wouldn't want to pay, which maybe City will just pick up just to get the deal over the line. So I have no issues with putting him on the same wage that he's on, because he's on, was it 180 that I saw? 200, something around that. But yeah, at Barca, what is he on at Barca?
300.
300? Are you mad?
300. Yeah, no, 300, bro, yeah. 300,
is that euro, though?
No, that'd be he's on 360,000 euro.
That can't be right.
And then after tax, it works out at about £300,000 a week.
That's right, okay. For one, that's fucking ludicrous. They have cooked that club so fucking bad, right? Because their wages are absolutely horrid. £306,000 a week, mad high. Man, listen, I'm kind of okay with it. Maybe a little bit lower. I wasn't aware that it was 300. I was maybe thinking maybe he's on 200, but then I realised it was Barcelona. Look, I wouldn't go 300. I don't think I'd go 300, but I'd be happy. Listen, if it's like 250, whatever. It's not my money. Like if it has to be 300, it has to be 300. But like I wouldn't go any higher. Certainly, my God, 300k a week for Barcelona. No wonder they're in the whole 1-for-1 and having to sell players to register them, get them rid of them on a free. Can't afford this player. Can't afford that player. Their wage bill is cooked.
Yeah, well, they've been horribly mismanaged for many years in the Barcelona. But look, it's not our problem. I'm not too worried. I don't care. I genuinely I don't care what they give Ilkay G'undogan as far as wages go. I've always said it to you lot. I don't really care what they do as far as money goes, as long as they're doing what's best for the team and they're not completely running the club into the ground. You know, it's not my money. It's not your money. We shouldn't care too much. If they do give Gundo 300 grand a week, you know, I can understand it, and I can also understand why they would want to give him less. But I think Gundo will take a pay cut. I think he'll take some sort of a pay cut to come back to Manchester City. But it's exciting. It's very exciting. You know, Rodri backup. He can be a Rodri backup. He can play the double pivot. He can play further forward. He can play the false nine if Haaland's not there. But I think we are going to get another striker. And then of course the leadership. You know, if I'm Arsenal or I'm even Real Madrid as far as Champions League goes, and I'm seeing Manchester City sign Ilkay G'undogan again, there's a part of me goes, for fuck's sake, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, come on. Just as you think maybe they're going to have a bit of a transition, maybe they're slowing down or they're betting in new players, you know, like Bob and McAtee and Savio and Rico, you know, stepping up a bit more. Gundo comes back and you're lying. You're lying to yourself if you think City aren't signing still a world-class player, you know? I put Gundogan, as far as aging goes, in there with like Modric and Kroos, because they're also players who never relied on pace. They won't rely on pace. Modric is talking about playing at the World Cup when he's 40. And he can, because he's got the brains for it. That's the way Gundogan is. That's the way you saw fucking the video, people, of Gundogan speaking to Arda Güler after an El Clasico. Was it this season or last season? I'm not too sure. Maybe it's preseason, just gone. And you can see him reading his lips saying, these guys don't play with their brains. They don't play with their brains. Because he's used to playing with these City players who are so robotic in the way they know how to do everything. And that Gundogan epitomizes that. Gundogan epitomizes footballing IQ. Like, is Gundogan a peak athlete? No, he's not. Of course, he's in good fucking shape and he's fit. Like he can run for a long time. He's a footballer. Of course he is. But is that his primary asset? His athleticism? No. Is his primary asset his strength or his speed or dribbling? No. What's Gundogan's best asset, Joe? His reading of the fucking game.
I mean, side note, because you mentioned Real Madrid, did you see their La Liga game where all 4 of these Galacticos are all playing on the left wing? Did you see the state of that Real Madrid? It's not me saying it's not going to work with Real Madrid, but it was just interesting to see that everybody thinks it's the death of football. It's going to take a while for that lot to click, because they had Bellingham, Rodrigo, Vinicius, and Mbappe all playing off the left. They had no one on the right. Like, it was just funny to see, but yeah, I mean, Gundogan age does not concern me, like even when Fernandinho got old. You know, there were at times where you could see it was a bit of a problem, like when he had to play right back against Real Madrid, as another mention. Remember when he got skinned by Vinicius? Like, he just couldn't do it, because by that point he was late 30s. He shouldn't have been playing right back. Like, that shouldn't have happened. But, you know, apart from that, especially in midfield, with the way that we do midfielders, age is not really a concern. Kevin De Bruyne is still at the club. David Silva played into his late 30s. Fernandinho as well. Like, physicality-wise, like, relying on pace is not something that, you know, you should have to do. As a midfield player, that should be, you know, the highest IQ position on the pitch, especially in the role that Gundogan would play. Sort of a box-to-box, maybe slightly deeper. You know, his main asset for us, for the last, sort of 3 years that he was at the club, was arriving late in the box. That was the thing that he was really, really good at. And that just, you know, takes knowledge. That takes knowing, you know, where to be, where to position yourself, knowing when to make the run, and just all around footballing IQ. So the age doesn't concern me for someone like Gundogan. If, you know, it was, let's say, I don't know, a winger or a fullback, someone who maybe has to have a little bit more pace, then maybe age would be a bit of a defining factor. But it's not in the midfield. It's really not. And, you know, is he going to actually start every game? No, he's not going to start every game. Like, he would probably start most of the big games because we know he's a big game player. But you're talking about someone who's basically in a similar category as Kevin De Bruyne, of he's going to play all the big games, but, you know, games at home against some of the lower downsides, games in the cup, he's not going to have to play. You don't have to play him. You can save him.
Yeah, of course. He's not going to have to play every game, and that's the fact of the matter. People are saying, "Oh, but this is going to affect the game time of this player. This is going to affect the game time of that player." Like, you're forgetting, people, the amount of football we're going to have to play this season. The amount of football. There's going to be plenty of minutes to go around. Plenty of minutes. This is just simply an opportunity City couldn't turn down, as far as I'm concerned. And at the pace that this is moving at, City viewed that way too. Yeah, City could not turn this opportunity down. And I know a lot of people are showing concern for, say, the likes of James McAtee, Mateus Nunes, and you're probably right too. You're probably right too, to be fair. Particularly for McAtee, you know, McAtee who, you know, he was told he's staying at City this season, and City have plans for him, Pep have plans for him, and then you see Gundo come back through the door. If you're McAtee, you're going to be a bit like, well, come on, man, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, McAtee had an opportunity to really, you know, make his mark in pre-season. He even played against Man United in the Community Shield, and he was okay. He fit in as a bench player, but he didn't have a pre-season like an Oscar Bob or like a Rico Lewis, or where you go, oh my God, what a player. He should start. He should keep his place. You know, those games, they were okay. He was tidy. He did all the things he had wanted to do, kept it nice and simple, didn't do anything ridiculous. I think he got a goal in pre-season. Like, it was fine. It was nothing that makes me go, you know, he doesn't fit in the squad, but it was nothing that makes me go, you know what, he should play a bit more. I mean, he didn't really grasp the opportunity. He had a solid, well, there's 4 games of pre-season in the Community Shield. He had 5 games. And I can't say he really made a claim to actually get loads of game time in the midfield, especially when you look at the names that we've got there. Now with signing Gundogan, like, Gundogan's probably not really a direct competitor for his position. He's not. He can play it. Gundogan can play further forward. False 9, number 10, whatever. But ideally he's an 8. He sits in the pivot beside someone, sits as a 6. Maybe plays a little bit higher up with someone like a De Bruyne. So I don't view it as competition for McAtee. McAtee still has to compete with Phil Foden, Kevin De Bruyne. I mean, list can go on at that point. Like, he was going to struggle anyway.
I always personally felt that McAtee wouldn't quite make the grade. I'm sure a lot of you like him, and I do like him. I think he's a really, really good footballer. But like, if we're talking about playing in the midfield as a week in, week out starter for Manchester City, you've got to be elite at this point. We have the best midfield right now, and De Bruyne, Rodri, and Foden. When they're all fit and they're all fresh, they're all healthy. I don't know. Maybe he could, but I think with all these young players we have in the squad now, Bob, McAtee, Rico, Savio now put in there, of course, too, and maybe Nico O'Reilly, but we still have to wait a bit on him too. They can't all make it. They're not all going to make it into. We're not going to have a class of 92. Or what was it? 96? Not class of 92, wasn't it? The Man United one.
The United one where they had almost 10 academy graduates or something like that. It's ridiculous.
It's unlikely at this day and age. Look, I like McAtee. I want him to do well. And look, if it is to work out for him at City, happy fucking days, another academy graduate. But I've always been a bit unsure. I'm sure we'll get to see more of him. As the season goes on. Carabao Cup games will be there, and there will be games. And I'm going to stick to my mantra about the squad in general. Injuries will happen. I already said to you people, I'll put money on De Bruyne getting an injury at some point this season. I'll put money on John Stones getting injured at some point this season. I'll put money on Kyle Walker getting injured at some point this season. And there'll be more. There will be more. So minutes will have to be. We will have to use the squad. We're going to have to use the squad, man. But like I said, if I was McAtee and I'm seeing Gundo coming back, I'm a bit like, it's difficult. It's difficult. Like, even just anybody but Gundo, because it's fucking Gundogan and he's that good. So look, we'll see. We'll see. I like McAtee and I wish him nothing but the best. Is it confirmed? There's no club announcement, no nothing. But it's done. It's done, people. Yeah, he's coming back. Let me have a look at some of these super chats. People, 250 in the building. How sick is that, Joe? Hit the soundboard, man. 250 people, man. That's crazy. What are you all doing? Listen to me. 12 o'clock or whatever it is, or 11 o'clock on a Tuesday night, man. Big up to all of you for joining, man. Hit the likes, man. Let's go up to 200 likes. Why not? And reminder, we're getting close now. We're just over 300 away from 10K. We're having a big fucking party at 10K. So make sure you're subscribed. Big up professional Harambot, my king. My king says you're not short, Hugh. Well, tell LB. He violated me there, man. LB, I don't know if I can be friends with LB again. Yeah. If you thought we fell out after the City Extra thing, we didn't, but we're gonna fall out now. So tell LB to pattern up.
Did he call you short? Did he actually call you short?
I said to him, I was like, LB, tell the people I'm not short, and he just goes, bro, back me up, man. Back me up. Big up to you, King. Big up Patrick, man, my Irish brother. Good to see you, man. He says, watch Pep play Gundogan a lot. I think Gundo play a lot of football. Yeah, absolutely. But the thing is, even with Gundo before he left to Barcelona, like, start every game. He didn't start every game. And that's another great thing about bringing Gundo back. He totally understands and accepts and appreciates that when you play for Pep in Manchester City squad, no one starts every week or is guaranteed, unless really your name is Rodri. And even at that now that we have Gundogan, Rodri might not start every week, which is great. He doesn't have to. Unless your name is Haaland, because he is the only striker right now. Yeah, probably him. Even Ederson isn't untouchable, So Gundogan gets that, and it's good for the dressing room, because there's always a risk when you sign any player, people, that when they come to City, maybe they start to think, I scored a goal last week. I should be starting this week. And Pep goes, no. We're playing against a certain opposition that requires, or I believe we should play this man for. And then the player goes, whoa. You know what I mean? I scored last week. Why don't you play me this week? No, you have to understand and accept when you're playing for Pep at City that he picks his squads based on who we're playing against and exactly what he thinks. There's usually not a lot of rhyme nor rhythm to it that we understand, but he understands, and it wins trophies. So, big up Gundogan, and big up to you, Patrick, man. I hope you're doing well, my brother. Big up Mansour, man. Big up to you for the super chat. He says, at City, Gundo was £140,000. At the moment, Gundogan is running out of options and time, and no way he goes to Saudi or Qatar. Gundogan doubt Gundo would reject 200. Yeah, I don't think, Mansour, for 1 second that Gundo's gonna, in whatever negotiations have taken place, I don't think for 1 sec that Gundo is like, oh well, I'm on 300 at Barca, I want 300 off you. No, I don't think so. I don't even think money is the main motivation for Gundo in coming back to Man City. I really don't. If money was the main motivation, he'd be in Saudi right now. He'd be in Qatar right now, and he'd be doing what Jordan Henderson did, collecting 700 bags a week, sunning himself, living life, whatever, eating good food and playing in whatever league they have there. No, I don't think money is the main motivation for Gundo. I think he's thinking about his short-term footballing life when he's playing, and what's to come after, because we really have an infrastructure in place for players to thrive after if they want. So I think you're right, Mansour. I think you're right. I don't know, 250, put him on par with kind of Jack Grealish and Bernardo maybe around there. I think that's fair. Do you think that's all right, Joe?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I think 300 is borderline too much, if you ask me, because that would put him as one of the highest earners, which, I mean, does he warrant it? Kind of, but not really over some other players that we've got in the team. So
Sam Lee was saying on LB's stream earlier on that the new contract they're trying to give Rodri is a monstrous contract.
Oh yeah, I saw it was
highest earner. I don't know. Does that mean like 500 bags a week? I don't know, but apparently it's monstrous.
Well, I saw. No, this wasn't from Sam Lee, but I did see a rumored offer of 375, which is the same as it's the same as what Haaland's base salary is now. Obviously Kevin De Bruyne is the most on 400, so I don't know. 375 had put him joint second. 350 had put him third. 400 had put him joint first. 500 had completely blow it out the fucking water. Is he worth 100 grand a week more than Kevin De Bruyne? Is the question here.
Rodri?
Yes.
Oh, chat really quickly, yes or no? Right now, is Rodri worth 100 grand a week more than Kevin De Bruyne? Get it in quickly, yes.
That's what we're asking right now. If that contract offer is 500 grand a week, Kevin De Bruyne is on 400,000. So is Rodri £100,000 a week more worth of a player than Kevin De Bruyne is right now? Is he £125,000 a week more worth it than Haaland as well? Because he's on 375. It's mad. It is absolutely mad money, right? Mad money.
Yeah, it's big money. But look, we don't know what monstrous means. They
he would be the
par.
highest paid player in the Premier League as well, by the way, because Kevin De Bruyne is first at the moment. So he will become, clear highest earner.
He is the best footballer in the world, though, isn't he? He's the best football player in the world right now. And does he warrant that?
Well, the way that I would kind of look at it is, it sounds crazy to say because he's just come off a season where he's got like 30 G&A, something like that. It's something fucking outrageous. He should not, given his position, unless he has another season like the season just gone, he should not be getting loads of money for goal bonuses, assist bonuses. That should not happen in his position, even though he just did it last season. So you don't have to worry about Haaland scoring, 40 goals and getting ridiculous amounts of money through goal bonuses. You shouldn't have to, but this is crazy. Like, is he worth £100,000 a week more than Kevin De Bruyne is right now? We're not talking about, Kevin De Bruyne as a whole, because we're talking about, we'll be talking about the greatest player in the club's history. But right now,
I think in today's market right now, yeah. I think for what Rodri, how important he is, how untouchable he should be, I'm going to say yeah. I'm good. And for his age as well, how much longer he still could potentially have left, I'm going to say yeah. But we'll see. Big up Sudge, my brother Sudge, man. I always see you when I was in the Big Six, man. Big up to you. He says, just swinging in and showing some love for Hugh Lamb, man. Massively appreciate you, Sudge. I always saw you in the chat on the Big Six, showing love and super chatting and that kind of thing. So big up to you, man. Appreciate you coming in a lot, genuinely. Big love to you. Big love to you. Right, let's talk strikers, man. Let's talk strikers. There'll be plenty more Gundo content, people. Plenty more Gundo content. I might do a video tomorrow. If you liked our Grealish video and our Savio video, we might make that for Gundo. I think he deserves a nice edit. But listen, let's. Am I lagging, Joe? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you had a little bit of a spike there, but it's fine now.
Am I okay now?
Yeah, it should be okay.
All right, let's chat strikers anyway, man. Let's chat strikers. I have been informed by someone that I trust. And someone who is quite knowledgeable on the Celtic front, mainly. But they would also know a bit about City too. That City are interested in signing Celtic's Kyogo Furuhashi. I tweeted that. People are a bit like, don't know who he is. But look, well, we can talk about him in a second. The fact of the matter is, City are very much in the market for a striker, a Julian Alvarez replacement. Quote unquote, that could be forward player too. And supposedly there's two names they're looking at. I believe one of them to be Kyogo Furuhashi from Celtic. There's no site, there's no journalist really has spoke on it at all. But I'm just telling you what I've heard, what I've been told. As always, you don't have to take me as gospel. I ain't no fucking Fabrizio Romano, so don't start that shit, people. Do you know what I mean? But the striker thing, I think, is good, Joe. I think it's good, or at least forward player, you know, with Haaland being the only one there. I think it's needed. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of on board with false nine being the second option for a while, but listen, if the club want a striker, the club want a striker. I wouldn't say no, because I do question how well the false nine would work after 2 seasons of religiously just playing with this absolute mutant up front. And just questioning how quick picking up the false nine would work. I mean, to link it back to Gundogan, the false nine would work, you know, would probably be a little bit more seamless with Gundogan because he played with it before. He's played in it. He was the false nine at times. So I was kind of leaning towards that, but again, if the club want a striker, to keep it simple, and you know Haaland doesn't play, we have a striker. We still play with a striker, or at least a recognised number 9. Then so be it. I mean, I don't know. You'll know much more about Celtic than I do. I don't watch them. You do, so you know exactly sort of what we'd be getting. I only watched the preseason game. I think he scored in it. So potentially that's where some interest has come, because when we played Celtic, they were like 4 games into their preseason, so they were pretty much match sharp, and that was them pretty much ready to go to you know play competitive fixtures. So you know they took it seriously and probably tried to play some stuff which is close to what they want to get to in the season. So maybe it's caught an eye in preseason from Pep. We've had an inside man, like you said, when Ange Postecoglou was at Celtic. He's been in the CFG before, so you know we have technically some inside knowledge. He signed him, I believe, as well. So you know there's something there, and of course we do own. I think we still own a Japanese club as well. So potentially we know a little bit about the player. Again, I really don't know much, so I'm not going to say what type of player he is, how good he is. So you know I don't know these things, but
he's very good. He's very, very good.
I hear.
He's one of these players for me, Kyogo, that I'm surprised he was never discovered earlier. You know, and there's probably so many players in the world who are really, really good and deserve a crack at playing at a very high level, and it just never happens for them, or else it happens a bit late. And it probably happened a bit late for Kyogo, because they would have signed him when he was 26, 27 maybe, and he's 27. I think he's 29 now. He'll be 30 in the next few months. So.
That's the one thing that concerns me a little bit is the age. It's not really the longest of term. You might get, maybe 3-4 years, potentially?
Well, this is the thing. He is a player that his pace is one of his biggest assets. He's absolutely rapid. Like, he's also a really smart footballer. His striker play is really, really smart. The runs he makes, the angles he creates for himself. he's a centre half's nightmare because he's on the shoulder of the last centre half, and then boom, he's gone into some angle or into a space that you're not going to catch him. And if you think of having like a real technician behind him, which he does have good technicians at Celtic in O'Reilly and Hatate, who usually play in midfield with him, but put a Kevin De Bruyne behind him, put a Gundogan behind him, a Phil Foden, you know, they're going to find this guy. And I want to give him every credit. I'm not saying City must go and get Kyogo. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they're interested. But what I am saying is he deserves his credit. He's a lethal finisher. He really, really is a lethal finisher. His first season at Celtic, he racked up, I think, 34 goals in all competitions. Last season he did have a few problems with injury, but he still racked up, I think, 19, 20-odd goals. He's a really, really top finisher. And look, I've always said, people, first of all, we're never going to get another Erling Haaland. And the next, whoever comes in to be Haaland's backup is not going to be as good as Erling Haaland. But what I am going to say is, and I've always said this, any striker who is good, even, just good, or quite good, is going to get quite a few goals at City. If you're a good striker, you're going to get quite a few goals because you're going to get so many opportunities. You know, you're going to get like Raheem Sterling. How many chances did he get? Season in, season out, and to be fair to him, at his peak, he cooked. He racked up the goals because we give so much service to our forward players that they're going to get goals. You know what I mean? They're going to get goals, and I think this guy could get goals. Now, once again, I'm not saying this is the guy City are going to go and get. I'm just saying there's interest there, and they've done all their scouting reports and all that kind of shit. Apparently, I know nothing about this one, but I've seen that they are quite interested in that John Duran from Aston Villa. I think he scored the winner for them the other day against West Ham. Yeah, he scored the winner, I'm pretty sure. I like the look of him. I know less about him, but I like the look of him. I know Chelsea were trying to get him earlier on the window. Didn't happen for whatever reason. Thank God. You should be saying, Mr. Duran, I think you're doing a good thing. We're not going to Chelsea. Would actually not even just
with no respect, because it should be common courtesy. You do not join 50-man squad Chelsea at this point.
Exactly. John Duran. I don't know as much about him, but what I have seen, I like him. City have to look for a very specific profile here, you know? If you're going to go for a young player like a John Duran, I'm pretty sure he's young. I'm almost certain he's like, yeah, he's 20, exactly. I was about to say 20, 21, whatever. If you're going to go for a young player like John Duran, and he does quite well at City, expect another Alvarez situation in 2 years. Expect him to go, right, I'm 23 now, I'm 24 now, whatever. It's time I went off and be the main number one. That's if Haaland's still around. You know, this is on the basis Haaland's still around. And of course, we hope he is. Or you could go for the slightly older one, which is Kyogo, who's 29, 30. And, you know, you get 3-4 years out of him at his kind of best. So, I mean, what do you do? What do you think of Duran?
I really like Duran, personally. Every time I see him, he's normally coming off the bench for Villa because, of course, they got Ollie Watkins. So maybe even John Duran is looking at that and going, you know, whose bench would I rather be on? Aston Villa's or Manchester City's? Like, because realistically, that's the point. Emery's not, or at least he hasn't done at the moment. He's not really played with two up front. He's not really moved Watkins out wide, which he could also do as well. So Duran's getting a lot of minutes off the bench. Most of his appearances are bench. Like, that's what he gets the bunk with minutes. But every time he comes on, he looks dangerous. He's a proper old school number 9. Like, he's big. He'll win headers in the box. He's a good finisher. It's just, of course, you do run the risk either way. Because like you said, with Kyogo, he's 29, so you might get 3-4 years and then it's just decline. Because he's a pace-heavy player. But and he would be cheaper as well. But you're sort of talking the same time frame, aren't you? Where with Kyogo, because of the type of player he is, he relies a bit on pace. You get 3-4 years, then there's a decline because his pace, you know, just gets slower. You'll get same but different with someone like Duran, where you'll get maybe 3 years out of him, and then he'll go, right, I want to start now. And then you get an Alvarez situation, which potentially you make profit on that situation, but then again, 3 years down the line, you're looking for another probably, because let's be honest, while Haaland is still happy, while there's no suitors, he's going to stay. We're just going to keep him. Like, it's ridiculous for us to get rid of him. I don't care how much he can improve on build up and hold up play and all of this. You feed him, he scores. He scores at a ridiculous rate. So I really like Gundogan. I really do. And I think he'd be a great understudy to Haaland because I think that there are similarities. Not totally the same. There's more similarities between them than someone like Kyogo, but Kyogo kind of fits the, a little bit more technical. Like it's almost like an Alvarez was. Whenever Alvarez came in, we played different. Alvarez got involved in build-up. There was a lot more technical side of it. He was dropping a bit deeper to come and get the ball. Like Kyogo could probably do that better than Haaland, just because of the type of player he is. So, I take either. If the option is striker, we want a striker. We want, an out-and-out number 9 to be the backup. We're not going to go false 9. We want an out-and-out number 9. Then I'm happy with either, because at the end of the day, we're signing a backup. And I have not seen Kyogo, but from what I've heard he's good. Even though it is the Scottish League, you do have to take it with a pinch of salt. It's not the strongest, but again, some of the numbers are still pretty fucking good, regardless what league it is. And then you got Gundogan, who again, I've watched a few Aston Villa games. I've watched a bit more of Gundogan. I know what type of player he is, and he's young. He's already in the Premier League, so we know he can cut it in the Premier League because he's already played there. So there's maybe a bit more certainty in that one working out. But again, it's going to cost you more.
It's difficult. But they are going to get someone. Let me have a look at our King's latest super chat. Big up professional Harambot. He says, Barca management is shambolic. They're getting rid of their best player, Gundo. Meanwhile, De Jong is on high wages. The disrespect.
£700,000 a week is absolutely ludicrous, my friend. I don't know in what world anyone that isn't like the best of the best is worth that money. We were talking about, is Rodri worth 500? If Frankie de Jong's worth 700, what is Rodri worth?
Let me check something here. Let me check something for you lot, people. I want to just see something. I want to see something first.
700 grand a week. I'm talking Messi was on more. Ronaldo was on more. Then you got Frankie de Jong. Nonsense. Absolutely nonsense. That's how bad they run, because that is still like his original contract from when they signed him. That's how bad they were run a few years ago.
He's on 120 grand a week more than Mbappe.
Like, what are we doing here? Seriously, what are we doing here? How have Barcelona allowed... Who was the Donny in charge of Barca at that time where everything went to shit? Bartomeu. He was the one who put him in loads of debt. What the fuck was he doing with all of these transfer fees and wages? What the fuck was he... What were his qualifications for the job? What was this geezer doing? 700 grand a week.
I don't even think De Jong's that good. I like him. I think he's a very good footballer. But is he in the elite bracket?
No. Borderline, maybe, but no.
No. He definitely doesn't warrant being on what he's on. I think we can all agree on that. But yeah, you're right, Harambot, though. You're right. I saw a lot of Barca fans. They don't want to sell him. They don't want to sell Gundogan, but they realize their club is an absolute shit show right now. I'm thinking of going to watch Barcelona actually in 2 weeks. I'm going to Spain in 2 weeks, and they're playing the day I arrive. So maybe I might go and see them and do a bit of a scouting of my own on Barcelona Football Club. But big up to you, Harambot, man. Big up to you. Sudge, my man Sudge, big up to you. Welcome to the HMTV Members Club, Joe. Man like Sudge, Arsenal fan. I think he's Arsenal fan. Big up to you coming in being a member, man. See, we welcome rival fans once they're good people, and Sudge is a good person. He's now a prestigious member of our prestigious club for prestigious people, the HMTV Member Club. If anybody else wants to be a channel member, like Sudge, like professional Harambot, he's always gifting out memberships. On some lucky night, you might get gifted one by him. But yeah, big up to you, man. Big up to you. Link in the chat if anybody else wants to be a member. Didn't Bartomeu get pinned for fraud? Yeah. We're laughing at.
I've just gone onto the La Liga wages. He's Frankie de Jong. He by far the highest earner in La Liga by 80,000, I think that is. Yeah, 80,000 to Robert Lewandowski. Yeah, he's on double Ilkay Gundogan's wages. He's not double the player of Ilkay Gundogan. Like, seriously, there's got to be some sort of. He's on a 6-year contract from 2020 till 2026, so he's got another 2 years of earning 721,000 euros a week.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro. We could do a whole stream on La Liga and particularly Barcelona if we really wanted to. But yeah, Bartomeu was in trouble. He was in trouble. I don't know what the latest is on that. You know,
I'm
pretty
not
sure, like,
surprised either, because he ran him to $1 billion of debt, I think, in his time
yeah,
there.
he put them in a lot of trouble, man. They were selling bricks from the old new camp and the toilets, and stuff,
Chairs and grass, and you could have a wedding on the pitch and play five-a-side, all of this other shit. They had super chats on live stream.
Did they?
Yes, Barcelona Football Club, when they were live streaming on YouTube, had people super chatting.
And who's reading them out?
No one. People were just sending cash when they were doing live streams, pretending to be players and all of this other funny shit. There were screenshots all over Twitter. But Barcelona Football Club were in that sorry of a state, penny pinching, trying to get as much as they could. That when they were like live streaming press conferences and other stuff on their YouTube channel, whatever it was, like, I don't know, statements or whatever they were streaming, there was super chats enabled and people were sending money.
Sick, man. It's just funny. Could never be my club. But yeah, look, City are definitely in the market for a striker. Gundogan is set to return, and I feel a lot better. I feel a lot better about the season moving forward. I was very impressed with the game against Chelsea. Very satisfied with the players who stepped up and did a good job. But you know, with Gundo coming back, and another forward coming in, we're looking in good straits. And I got a feeling. Ooh, 5 in a row, Joe. 5 in a row.
Well, it becomes more of a reality, doesn't it? Because you had
Gundo knows the thing about winning leagues, man.
you add that man back into the equation, and you're kind of going, if you're Arsenal, you're kind of going, oh, shit. They've added a treble winner into their side again. We were happy when they got rid of him because, you know, it made us weaker. But he's back. You know, he's going to be coming back, and he may be back in time to play against Arsenal because we have Arsenal soon. It's coming up soon.
He will be 22nd September. Yeah, Gundo will be there.
Like,
we will be there.
We will be there. We will be there. Chelsea, they got off lightly. He wasn't there. Ipswich will probably get off lightly because I don't think he'll be there either. Everybody else.
He's just so clutch, man. He's just so clutch that you know you can almost be sure he's going to come up with some big goals and big moments. He's proven it so many times that you're just there's a big few Gundo moments coming up. Big up my man AK850 says, has the club reported this yet? I don't believe shit unless the club reports it. I get that. I totally understand people who are like that. I don't, when they say like I don't believe anything until he's holding the shirt in the stadium. Totally understandable. No, the club have not reported it yet. Apparently, I think some club executives or Pep maybe was asked about it tonight at the Player of the Year Awards. Was it the PFA Awards? I think it was the PFA Awards. Yeah. And they basically refused to comment, which is always a good thing, AK. If you like to read into things like we do, it's a good thing when they don't comment. Because if they do comment, it's usually, it ain't happening, So, no report. But I can assure you, AK, and you don't have to believe me, as always, but Gundogan is coming back. Gundogan is coming back to Manchester City. I'm pretty certain about that. I need
it's
double
different,
signing.
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's different to someone like Bruno because every single journalist that's connected to the club has come out and said, he wants it, we want it. You know what I mean? With Bruno, it was like, we kind of want the player, all of this. Done with that now. Done with Bruno. With Gundogan, it's like, we want it, he wants it. It's probably going to happen. Everybody was on the same story. Spanish sources, English sources, City sources. Everybody was on it. Rodri sources. Bro was doing interviews, and did you not see the one clip going around Twitter at the moment where he was asked the most underrated player, and he said Gundogan. He knows what he's doing, the cheeky little bastard. He's getting us excited.
Rodri talked about Gundo tonight.
Yeah, he did some sort of interview with I don't know whether it was a media place or whether it was just some like guys on TikTok. I think it was just some guys who have their own sort of thing that they do on the internet, and they were asking him questions like best friend and scariest and best player and all of this other shit. And someone said he asked him most underrated, and he said Gundogan. Bro knows what he's doing.
Okay, yeah, he's a troll, man. He's a troll. There you
Don't
go,
get
AK.
excited.
There you go, AK, man. Rodri he's sprinkled a bit of Gundo dust on us there. Lads, 240 still in the building, man. Make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe. On the road to 10,000 beautiful people. Man like Mansour, man. Big up to you, Mansour, for another super chat. Appreciate you tonight, brother. He says, Gundogan went to Barca to play number 10 role, which rarely he did, and mostly defensive midfield. Then Olmo happened on top of everything else. Yeah, I think, Mansour, from what I gather about everything Gundo experienced regarding life at Barcelona, he wasn't too impressed. I don't think he was too impressed. I think Gundogan went to Barca. I don't think he wanted to go in the first place too badly. I think he gave his word, and he's a gentleman, Gundogan. He gave his word to Barca that he would go when City wouldn't give him the terms he wanted. And then he got there and wasn't too impressed. I think he went there because, you know, when he was younger and he was probably cutting his teeth, Barca were Barca. You know, Barca were Barca-ing. And it is very much a prestigious club. Not as prestigious as our members club, but it's a very prestigious club. It didn't work out. It didn't work out. Do you know what I'm saying, Mansour? Yeah, Olmo happened, of course. They're trying to register Danny Olmo. They can't register him until they offload Gundogan. Look, they're a shit show, Mansour. They're a shit show.
I'm not surprised that he didn't gel well there either. I mean, you talk about how he wasn't the happiest of people. They were the way they were treating him, and again, that just comes down to the places he's been. He's been to two of the better clubs when it comes to looking after players. We do such a good job of looking after players to the point of where everybody's going, they want to leave after 4 years and they're staying for 10. Like, we do unbelievable at it. He played for Dortmund before us. They are an unbelievable club for players, for the player side of things, the fans, everything about Dortmund. Whenever you hear someone talk about Borussia Dortmund, Haaland, Bellingham, anyone who's played there, Marco Reus played there for ages, the yellow wall, everything about Dortmund is they look after the players. They do a good job with the players. The player-fan relation is amazing. With Barcelona, with the absolute state that they're in, I'm not surprised that it didn't live up to expectations and he was maybe a bit caught off guard. Maybe it wasn't, the worst thing in the world, but because of where he's been before and how he's been looked after before, the situation with, one of the main reasons he moved to Barcelona is because they gave him a multi-year contract and he just had a kid. So he wanted a bit of, security in his life. He wanted, his last contract to be one with multiple years on it so he could settle because he just had a child. The fact that they weren't, willing to help him find a house in Barcelona was probably a big thing for him because he wants to settle. He's just had a kid. He wants to settle, wife, kids, whatever, he wants to settle down and, play out the rest of his career and have security in the rest of his career. He doesn't want to be hopping around Europe every few years on 1 year contracts, especially with the big factor of he has just had a child and they didn't want to, help him facilitate a house, finding a house. So I'm not surprised.
It's just a bad look for Barca. It's just a bad look. Big up Sudge, man. Another super chat. Appreciate you, Sudge, man. Showing so much love tonight, man. What a legend. He says, apologies, Joe. Forgot to big you up. My bad. Don't worry, Joe. Joe appreciates you as much as I do, Sudge. Don't you, Joe?
Of course. Yeah, naturally. I mean, everybody was here on Saturday night when I was on my ones talking about Chelsea and Gundogan.
Yeah, man. W's in the chat for Joe holding it down on his own. I had some family things to sort out, some personal things to sort out, so I do apologize, people. I couldn't give you any Chelsea reaction, but it's all okay now. It's all okay. So trust me, we are good to go. We are good to go. But big up to you, Sudge, my massive legend. You didn't have to do that, but Joe appreciates you. I can assure you that if he didn't, I would give Joe a big backhand slap to the back of the head and say, "You appreciate Sudge now." Yeah, man, Joe held it well. Joe held it well, Andrew. You're right. Look at the W's in the chat, man. Cheers, Joe. Exactly. Joe's a top man. I'm very proud of Joe. People, you don't understand how much work Joe puts into this channel. Like, I just come on here and stream and do videos. Joe does all the graphics, all the thumbnails. He schedules all the streams. Joe's the man behind the magic. You know what I'm saying? So you have to show appreciation to Joe, man. He's a very, very important part of this channel, and we wouldn't be close to 10K without him. That's fact. He's been here from 0, and he'll be here at 10K, and he'll be here at 10 million when we get there. Promise you on that.
The million gets bigger every time you bring it up. It started off at 1, now we're at 10. We'll be at fucking 50 before too long.
Listen, when we get to 10 mil, we'll start looking towards 50 mil. But until then, people, you have to subscribe to get to 10K. Then we'll do 10 mil. We're going from 10K to 10 mil.
Yeah, not 10K, 100K, 500K, million. No, 10K, 10 mil. Right now.
All right, big up LB in the chat says, whoa, WOE, man. That's you, W Joe, man. Joe's our guy, man. Joe's the king around here. LB, I've still got a gripe with you, man. But violating me like that. Violation, man. Rubber Joe, yeah, man. But listen, people, life's good, man. Life's good. City are back this weekend. Ipswich at home. We definitely plan to make some content around that. LB told me earlier on, he gave me his guarantee. He's going to come on the channel at some point next week. So that's to look forward to, hopefully. Get some more guests. Briggsy, I told you we're going to get you on too. Panel, I'm going to get that back together. Trust me, I've sorted out my personal life a little bit. I've stabilized myself a little bit. I'm going for a job interview tomorrow morning, actually. I'm going for a job interview tomorrow morning. I'm getting a day job because I want to get my bread up. But yeah, wish me luck on that.
So if he ever has a stinky take, you can officially tell him, don't quit the day job.
Yeah, you can. Tell me don't quit the day job, yeah. Big up Roberto, man, my guy Roberto. I always saw you on the Big Six as well, man. Legend. Says big up you lot. Gundo, feel like a treble is on. There is something special. There's some special feeling about Gundo. I don't know, are we putting too much pressure on the guy talking about trebles and quadruples coming back, but when he's in the team, it just does feel like anything is possible. You think of the big players we now have in the squad, winners. Even Haaland, he's a winner now. Foden, player of the year. Congrats, Joe. Soundboard for Foden. PFA player of the year, Philip Walter Foden. De Bruyne, Rodri, Gundo, Haaland. You know, these are big winners. Ruben Diaz has never lost a league. Ruben Diaz has been in the league 4 years and he's never lost it. Ederson, winner. Walker, as much as he's a bit of a head case, he's a winner, you know? Even a Kanji, winner. Bernardo, winner. We're in a good place, man. We're in a very good place. With Pep at the wheel, Manchester City are in a good place. Oh, hit the soundboard twice! Get out of here with the 5 gifted. My king professional Rambot.
LB got one. LB
got one. LB got gifted a membership. Oh, that's so good, man. Big up to you, my king professional Harambot. He says, for Rubber Joe's massive work he does. Exactly, man. I'm really glad to see Joe getting his appreciation. Who got them? John Rowland, Mad Hatter, Jimmy Grimble, LB. LB to the chat. He says, hey, yo. Welcome, LB. You're now a member. It's a prestigious club for prestigious people. You are now a part of it, my brother. You are now a part of it. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome.
How has that happened, right? Because I'm pretty sure gifts are random. They just pick out people at random. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So he's managed to be picked out at random.
Big up LV and our king, as always, people. Always loving the chat for a professional Harambot, man. He's a massive help and support to this channel. Even just being here, being active in the chat, like all of you have been fantastic since we went full time on this channel, at being active. New ones, old ones, OGs. You know, it's great to have you all here. On the road to 10K, like I said, we'll do a shirt giveaway and a big party, maybe a big stream with a few beers, whatever, at 10K. And yeah, once again, thank you all as well for being so supportive with everything. After I left the Big Six, after everything, just always here. It's a brilliant community. We're very proud of this community. We're very proud of what me and Joe have here, and we're proud to have you guys involved. So look, I think that's a fantastic note to end on. Our king gifting 5 is always it's a nice note to end on. So listen, big up to all of you. Subscribe if you're new, share it around, tell a friend that there's a a certain pair of dickheads on YouTube trying to get to 10k. So share it around and hit the like button on your way out. And we'll see you very soon, hopefully with a Gundo Bombazzo. In a bit, wrap her up, Joy Boy. Good night and God bless.
Listen to your heart. Tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to